Holy snap, so I actually wrote down everything so I don't forget something for a change. So, the demo for for the gold version back in 1997 was dropped on the interwebs. Demo or beta, however it is you want to talk about it, was pretty much shown off at a convention in Japan only. And the ROM was dropped off onto the interwebs for all of us to see and data mine, because of course it will be with a new game looming over the horizon. So let's just talk and look at some of the Pokemon that could have been but never saw the light of day, because some of these would have been really cool to have, and I would have loved to have seen how it would have changed up the game as a result. So first, I'm going to suck at pronouncing this, but we're going to talk about, for a split second, Hanamagura. And this is essentially Bayleaf before Bayleaf became Bayleaf. Looking at the data mine, you can see that Meganium had a different second evolution, the name Hana meaning flower, and Magura meaning mole. Of course, leads us to believe it's a flowering mole. Then it turns into a flower dragon, according to Meganium's Japanese name. That's about all there is on that. There's nothing new other than it looks different. And of course, we have the other two starters. Both are way different than we actually got from the finished product. Our fire type being a fire bear, to our water looking almost like a certain seal type we recently got in Gen 7. One could think that Poplio probably could have been in the game much sooner, but instead it was cut, reworked, and turned into what we did get, and then later in Gen 7 we got what originally might have been a concept back in Gen 2. Now, this one makes me really question some things about the leaks for Moon and Sun and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Remember when it was all over the place that there was an Alolan, Growlithe, and Arcanine that were water type? What if it was based off this concept? Now, stick with me for a second. What if it was actually a true thing, then it got scrapped, and it was all based off of the information we got out of this demo? So how about Mikon? Mi meaning 3, and Con, the sound that a fox makes. And this is where you insert a "what does the fox say" joke, but I'll let you do that instead because I forgot to actually do it, but I wrote it down. But anyway, this is a baby Vulpix. It is listed as a water type. That's right, a water type. Now the sprite doesn't look like a water type, so people believe it was a mistake. Maybe something was typed into the code wrong or something, turning it into a water type for the demo. And that could be true. But what if between Growlithe and Vulpix once was supposed to be a fire type and one was supposed to be a water type? Yet then maybe something got messed up in the design aspect, or they just forgot what they were doing, which is always a possibility. Like, here we've got this, we want it to be a water type, and then whoever drew it up was looking at Growlithe or something, and it says fire, and then they drew it up like a fire type, and then instead of reworking it, they were just like, you know what, let's go ahead and just leave Vulpix a water type, or a fire type instead, because for all we know, maybe it was originally supposed to be, or maybe they were planning to change it for Gen 2 to sort of complement Growlithe as a fire type. But, you know, I was thinking that maybe because of that, that is how we wound up with the Ice type Vulpix in Gen 7, the Alolan form. Because of that, maybe Growlithe Alolan form was supposed to then be a water type, because back in the day they originally planned for a baby Vulpix to be a water, and changing Vulpix itself into a water type, and then they just scrapped it all together. So maybe that information that we saw, the leaks that were considered fake, of course, maybe they were not exactly completely faked. Maybe they actually had a concept, a working concept, and then scrapped it later. At least that's my theory anyway. So let's move on. Manja, shortening of Tangela, Japanese name, is a baby Tangela, along with an early look at Tangrowth. Other than that, there's not really much to see here. Hani never came to the game, but it might have been an early design of Mantine. And here we have an evolved Quillfish. Both it and Quill were originally just water types, but then Quillfish was changed to a water poison in the final product. Gyropin, Gyropin, however you want to pronounce that, is essentially a little baby Goldeen. Just a little baby tiny Goldeen, because Goldeen needs a pre-evolution. The next three I'm not even going to try and say their names, but seem to be a nice water/water steel evolution line, maybe related to Gorbis or something along those lines. Maybe, maybe not, just because the final design kinda looks like those evolutions. But at the same time, it was a water. It started off as a water and then evolved into a water steel. So that could be something. We also have this cute baby Paris, because the bug who gets taken over by a fungus so needs a cute baby form to drive the point home that as it grows, it will totally die and be a lifeless husk for the mushroom on its back. Animon evolves from Ditto. Animon evolves from Ditto with Metal Coat. According to the data mine, it could have been an influence behind Metal Powder, the held item that I don't think anybody ever uses. But I mean, a Ditto evolution would have been awesome. We could do some pretty cool things with Ditto as it is, and I typically have one on my main team, because you never know when you might need to use its ability to become anything and turn it against your opponent. So just having an evolution to Ditto would have been really awesome, because I wonder what it would have done. As it stands, Ditto transforms and takes on all the stats and everything of the other Pokemon. And if you combined it with something like a Choice Scarf or something, generally Pokemon tend to have something that they're weak to in their move pool that you can use to obliterate something that might have, Dragon Dance 3 times or something like that you can use against it to completely wipe it out, and then maybe take out a couple of more before you swap it out or lose it. So I really would be curious to see what an evolved form would have done. But we didn't get it. And then we get to the baby Dudo. Although it's kind of weird, as the baby looks like it's got 3 heads, Dudo only has 2, and then its evolution has 3, so maybe I can see why they scrapped it. Kind of makes sense considering it has 3, then 2, and then back to 3, design-wise. So I can understand why they scrapped at that point, if maybe they had come up with it and then got to thinking, just that. It's like, what, this kind of makes no sense, and we don't feel like redoing it. So scrap it. From there, we got something known as Twins, a dark normal that is a pre-evolution of Graffaring, who started as a dark normal and then changed to normal psychic in the final game. From there, we have this baby Meowth, because why not? And then the two after it are dark types with a female-only evolution. Makes me wonder if this is where the Alolan form of Meowth came from, a dark version of Meowth. Maybe they had already planned on that dark version of Meowth. And then they scrapped it. So then, of course, recycling it for Gen 7 as the Alolan form kind of makes sense. I can see how that would be a thing. We also have a baby Pontia. The so cute little flaming unicorn. I'm a fan of Rapidash and Pontia, although I don't use them very much for anything. I just like the design, I guess. So I think having a baby one would have been so cool. But that's just me. And let's talk about Umbreon for a second. Why, you ask? Because apparently it was originally a poison type. Me, being the fan of Eevee that I am and the evolutions, I would love to see more evolutions, at least one for every single type. Sadly, we don't have one for every single type yet, but to know that they were planning on having a poison type is kind of cool and makes me wonder maybe they're about to bring it to full, an actual thing. I mean, after all, it looks like there is going to be a brand new Pokemon that is going to show its face in Let's Go. Maybe it's a poison type evolution. Have you thought about that? Because I so totally have. Anyway, but I am honestly glad that it became a dark type. Basically, it really doesn't look too different from its original concept for the demo. So Umbreon and Dark kind of fits better. And both of them evolved with a stone, of course, instead of using the day and night cycle that Gold and Silver had. The Heart Stone for Espeon, which of course would work like a evolution stone and not what we use it for now. And then something known as a Poison Stone, which I don't think we actually have a Poison Stone in-game. If we do, I've totally forgotten about it. But I know we've got like Poison Barb and stuff like that. But as for an actual Poison Stone for evolution, we never really got that. We got this thing, Slowking's Shell, with no direct relation to Slowpoke or the Shelter lines, and a little baby Grimer. How would you like to take that little bit of sludge with you? You can sit on your shoulder or something, just be all sludgy, going blah, or whatever it is that a little Grimer might make. But the whole Slowking Shell thing also is kind of interesting. It's just its own little thing there, so wondering if maybe that was just done as a placeholder for where they were going to work it into Slowking's design and hadn't done it at that time or something, or maybe they had, I don't know. But of course, since we had a baby Vulpix, there would be a baby Growlithe. This one, of course, is stated in the data mine that it is a fire type. It doesn't say water. So, and with my whole thing about Growlithe and Vulpix, they seem to work in tandem with one another. Just because they were like the version exclusive Pokemon. One was a fire type here, one was a fire type there. And also when it comes to some of those exclusions, sometimes they mirror in types, which is why I was thinking maybe Vulpix was originally supposed to be a water type to mirror the fire of the Growlithe, but that never happened. But from there, like Gloom has two evolutions, it makes sense that Weepinbell would too. Again, the whole mirroring of the two different versions and the two different types of Pokemon that come in. However, because this one evolved with the Poison Stone, which was left out of the game, it never actually happened. So instead we got Gloom evolving, and we got Blossom out of that as the other evolution with the Sunstone. But Weepinbell unfortunately was left on the chopping block for its other evolution. We also have this Sill type that also seems like it was an inspiration for Gen 7's Popplio starter. But this one is a water fire, which of course makes me wonder if maybe that's where they got the typing from Volcanion from. Because we hadn't really had a water fire before until Volcanion showed up. But they also apparently had the plans for it back in Gen 2. We also have this electric tiger looking thing. Its evolution as well as a freaking Farfetch'd D evolution that we never got and I kinda wish we did. I mean, seriously, Farfetch'd D seems like it would be awesome to properly use. The problem is you've got to do a lot of dang setup to actually get one into battle against somebody to properly use it. And as for that, Farfetch'd D by itself is incredibly weak, which honestly sucks. So having an evolution for Farfetch'd could have made it more competitively viable, which means we could have seen it more often in there, especially if it still got to do things with its stick and crits and stuff like that. I think it would have been awesome to have, but that's just my opinion. We also have these two ghost types. There's really not much on there, and a Pinsir evolution, which I think would have been cool. But then Pinsir did get that Mega evolution, so you know, there's that. I wonder if the Pinsir evolution is what made them think to give Pinsir a Mega evolution. Of course, when you go through and look at these data mines and then go look at what they've done, you can also find some different little things like, for instance, Pinsir here. Pinsir was supposed to have an evolution, never got it, but then got to Mega Evolve later. So, you know. We got this Ice type in its evolution line, and it's some kind of Wolfman type thing. Yeah. That's a thing. And to round all this off, we get an early look of what Leafeon started as, which is cool. So Leafeon was obviously planned for Gen 2, but didn't come until later. Because then we got later Glaceon and Leafeon together, using those stones and stuff out in the wild, that you had to go find and level up Eevee next to one in order to evolve it. So, what do you think? Anything here you wish turned out in the final product? Do you wish any of these became a real thing? Or do you not? If you had to pick one or two to bring into the games, which one would you pick? Let me know down in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you later.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.